Nobody in the galaxy ever believed the reports at first. Fleets didn't just vanish. Empires didn't simply go silent. And tiny, primitive planets definitely didn't erase armadas without leaving wreckage behind. Yet every time someone looked closely at the star charts, the same question kept resurfacing. Why was that small blue planet still untouched? The Grand Council chamber floated at the center of the station, a vast circular space where representatives from dozens of species gathered around a shimmering table of light. Commander Varric of the Thorian Dominion leaned forward, his scaled fingers tapping the surface in visible irritation. The low hum of translators filled the air as conversations overlapped, arguments already simmering before the session officially began. "Enough," Varric said, his voice amplified across the chamber. "We are not here to argue trade routes or border dispute. We are here to talk about Earth." Groans echoed instantly. A small, fur-covered delegate bounced in her seat. "Again," she squeaked. "That dull rock with the strange bipeds? Why does this council obsess over it? There's nothing there worth conquering." A massive gray-skinned warlord slammed his fist down, rattling the holographic table. "That dull rock has been sitting unclaimed for centuries," he growled. "Every other planet with water, resources, and breathable atmosphere was taken long ago. Yet Earth remains untouched. That is not coincidence." Laughter rippled through the chamber. "Touched," another general scoffed. "The natives barely crawl beyond their own moon. They fight with chemical explosions and metal slugs. We dismantle stars. What threat could they pose?" Varric didn't laugh. He stood slowly, tail flicking behind him as he activated a galactic map. Earth glowed faintly at the center of the display. "Tell me," he said calmly, "how many fleets have set a course for this planet?" Silence followed. Finally, a shadowy figure near the edge of the chamber spoke. "At least 47 confirmed expeditions." "And how many returned?" Varric asked. No one answered. The shadow delegate continued, voice cold and steady. "The Ravager horde vanished 300 years ago. 5,000 ships. Total radio silence after initial success. The Steelclaw Armada followed. Then the Plasma Lords. Then the Quantum Raiders. All gone." A nervous ripple moved through the council. "That makes no sense," someone muttered. "Humans don't have planetary shields. They don't have fleet defenses. They don't even have unified global command." Varric enlarged the map. Around Earth was a vast empty halo. "Notice anything else?" he asked. The delegates leaned forward. "There are no trade routes," someone whispered. "No colonies. No shipping lanes. A dead zone," Varric said. 50 light-years wide. No one flies through it unless they are foolish or desperate." The furred delegate's ears flattened. "You're suggesting the entire galaxy is afraid of one planet?" "I'm suggesting," Varric replied, "that the galaxy learned something the hard way." Another representative stood, mandibles clicking nervously. "Then why don't we know what happened? If fleets were destroyed, there should be debris, escape pods, something." "That," Varric said quietly, "is exactly the problem. There is nothing." The chamber fell uncomfortably quiet. After a long moment, a mechanical delegate spoke. "What is your proposal, Commander?" Varric's eyes gleamed. "We stop guessing. We observe." Murmurs erupted. "A reconnaissance mission?" the warlord demanded. "Cowardice." "Survival," Varric shot back. "We send a small team. No weapons. No contact. No threats. We watch the humans in their natural environment." "And if they disappear too?" the furred delegate whispered. "Then," Varric said grimly, "we will finally understand that Earth is not weak, it is restrained." Hours later, deep within the station's archival vaults, data streams flickered to life. Records long ignored were pulled from ancient databases. Battle logs. Distress calls. Final transmissions. The insectoid scientist overseeing the archive swallowed hard. "I've reviewed the first case," she said. 8 centuries ago. The Blood Fong Armada. They achieved orbit within hours. Their commander reported total dominance. She paused. His final message claimed the planet was secured. Ground invasion had begun. He described the humans as soft, disorganized, and easy to break. And then, someone asked. And then nothing, she replied. No retreat signal. No emergency beacon. Just silence. Another file appeared. The next force attempted psychological warfare. Fear projections. Mind domination. The humans responded by enjoying it. Confusion spread across the chamber. They created entertainment from fear, the scientist continued. They mimicked it, improved it, reflected it back. Half the invading force suffered mental collapse. And the machines? A voice asked quietly. The scientist hesitated. The machine collective calculated a near-perfect victory probability. They underestimated one factor. Which was human adaptability. The room felt colder. They improvised. They broke rules. They used tools never designed as weapons. The machines couldn't predict them. Couldn't control them. Varric exhaled slowly. And Earth? He asked. Earth advanced, the scientist said. After every failed invasion, their technology leaped forward. No one spoke. Finally, Varric straightened. Prepare the reconnaissance team. Fear hung heavy in the chamber, not of Earth's weapons, but of its people. The stealth vessel slipped into motion without sound, its hull bending light and radiation until it became little more than an absence in space. Commander Varric stood at the forward display, watching the stars stretch as the ship accelerated toward its destination. None of the crew spoke. Everyone aboard understood the unspoken truth. No mission sent toward Earth had ever returned intact. The team had been chosen carefully. Scout Zero, a master of long-term concealment, occupied the observation bay, his adaptive skin already blending with the dim glow of the instruments. Analyst Core processed data faster than most civilizations could record it. Gearite, the engineer, had survived disasters that should have erased him from existence. And Healer Sale, trained not just in physical medicine but mental stabilization, monitored their vitals constantly. 12 days later, the ship decelerated at the edge of Earth's system. There it is, Scout Zero murmured. The planet rotated peacefully below them, blue oceans catching starlight, white clouds drifting lazily. No defense grid flared. No challenge signals were issued. No armadas waited in orbit. This is the trap? Gearite asked quietly. It looks like a vacation world. Appearances, Varric replied, have already killed 47 fleets. They activated passive sensors only. No scans strong enough to be detected. No transmissions. Just watching. Scout Zero released microdrones into the atmosphere, each smaller than a grain of sand. They fed visual and biological data back to the ship. Analyst Core spoke first. Commander, there is no global war in progress. Varric frowned. Define no war. No active planetary conflict. No mass mobilization. No invasion response posture. Their population centers are operating under normal conditions. Gearite leaned closer to the display. But this species erased armadas. Yes, Core replied, and they are currently commuting. The screen showed a massive human city. Millions of individuals moved in orderly chaos. Vehicles flowed along structured paths. Towers rose skyward, packed with life. They're cooperating, Scout Zero said slowly. No overseers. No enforcement drones. No visible coercion. That's impossible, Varric muttered. Large populations require control. Healer Sale adjusted her sensors. Their stress markers are elevated. Fear? Varric asked. No, she replied, confused. Mild anxiety. Time pressure. Social obligation. They're stressed voluntarily? Gearite asked. Scout Zero redirected the feed to a residential area. A small human stumbled and fell. One of the larger humans immediately rushed over, lifting the smaller one, speaking softly, making exaggerated gestures. Within moments, the smaller human began to laugh. They are damaged, Gearite said. Psychologically. They are nurturing, Sale corrected. Beyond efficiency. Analyst Core's processors hummed. Their parental investment exceeds survival necessity. This behavior should weaken the species. And yet, Varric said, they're still here. Another feed appeared. Humans gathered in a large open field, divided into two groups, chasing a spherical object. Combat? Gearite asked. Scout Zero hesitated. Competition. The groups collided, maneuvered, strategized, but when one side succeeded, the other reacted with excitement rather than rage. Afterward, they exchanged gestures of approval. They simulate conflict without annihilation, Core said. They practice coordination without lethal outcome. Varric's scales prickled. They are training without calling it training. Sale's voice dropped. Commander, I'm detecting subterranean structures. Massive ones. Gearite's mechanical limbs stiffened. Hardened bunkers. Weapons vaults. Defense networks. They are everywhere. Varric stared at the planet. So the garden hides a fortress. Scout Zero suddenly spoke sharply. Commander, I've located a restricted zone. The display shifted to a vast desert. Metal beasts rested across the landscape. Aircraft circled overhead. Uniformed humans moved with terrifying precision. Military, Varric breathed. The exercise began. Humans advanced as one, communicating silently, adapting instantly. Ground forces coordinated seamlessly with air unit. Injured individuals were extracted without disrupting momentum. Targets were eliminated with ruthless efficiency. This is not primitive, Gearite whispered. This is refined. Analyst Core processed at full capacity. Commander, only a fraction of their population participates in this. How many? Varric asked. Millions. The word echoed in the chamber. And these are just professionals, Scout Zero added. Civilians engage in parallel skill development, marksmanship, combat sports, tactical games. They prepare for war as recreation, Sale said, unsettled. Scout Zero zoomed in further. Humans adjusted long-range weapons. Precision training, Core confirmed. Accuracy exceeding 90% at extreme distances. They dismissed kinetic weapons as obsolete, Gearite said slowly. Yet these could breach our armor. And these are training tools, Scout Zero added. Storage facilities hold far more advanced systems. Core's processors slowed, an alarming sign. Commander, I am detecting familiar energy signatures. Varric's voice hardened. Explain. These weapons incorporate technology not native to Earth. Modified. Improved. Silence swallowed the bridge. They didn't just survive invasions, Gearite said. They absorbed them. And learned, Sale whispered. Varric watched human soldiers conclude their exercise. They packed up, laughed, and returned to civilian life. Parents, workers, neighbors. They can turn violence on and off, he said quietly. By choice. Scout Zero finally asked the question none of them wanted to voice. Commander, what kind of species becomes stronger every time you try to destroy it? Varric had no answer. The longer the observation continued, the worse the implications became. Commander Varric had ordered a deeper behavioral analysis, not of governments or militaries, but of individual humans under pressure. If there was a flaw, a psychological breaking point, this was where it would reveal itself. Healer Sale's medical display flickered to life, filling the bridge with neural patterns and hormonal charts. Her wings trembled slightly, a rare sign of unease. Commander, she said, humans do not respond to trauma the way any known species does. Varric folded his arms. Explain. When exposed to extreme danger, most organisms exhibit fear dominance. Survival instinct overrides social cohesion. Humans do the opposite. She pulled up live footage. A coastal settlement battered by a violent storm. Structures collapse. Water surged through streets. They should be fleeing, Analyst Core noted. Instead, humans ran toward the destruction. They formed chains, lifting debris, pulling strangers from danger. Some were injured. Some died. Others continued anyway. Sale's voice dropped. Their neurochemistry rewards this behavior. They release bonding compounds when helping others at personal risk. Gearwright's metallic fingers tightened. Their biology incentivizes heroism. That should be evolutionarily impossible, Core said. Unless, Varric replied, group survival outweighs individual loss. Sale activated another data stream. It gets worse. The display shifted to humans who had survived wars, famines, disasters. According to all predictive models, these individuals should have been psychologically shattered. Instead, their cognitive metrics were enhanced. They process complexity faster, Sale explained. They adapt quicker. They demonstrate higher tolerance for uncertainty. They turn damage into strength, Scout Zero said quietly. Yes, Sale confirmed. They don't just recover from trauma. They metabolize it. Varric's scales darkened. So psychological warfare makes them more dangerous, Sale finished. Analyst Core interrupted. Commander, I've been analyzing human cultural behavior. Focus on weaknesses, Varric ordered. That's the problem, Core replied. Their culture is a distributed adaptation engine. The display shifted to something absurd. Humans sharing short visual fragments, exaggerated symbols, humor built from fear, failure, and chaos. They call these memes, Core said. Ideas spread, mutate, improve, and replicate across their entire species in real time. Gearwright stared. That's not culture. That's rapid evolution. And it's uncontrolled, Core added. No central authority governs it. Sale's voice was tight. They expose themselves to fear intentionally. Horror entertainment. Simulated terror. They pay for it. Varric exhaled slowly. They vaccinated themselves against psychological attack. Scout Zero adjusted his sensors. Commander, historical analysis complete. The bridge dimmed as centuries of conflict scrolled past. War after war. Not isolated skirmishes, but planet-wide catastrophes. This one, Core said, highlighting a period. They mobilized over 100 million soldiers. With primitive technology, Gearwright muttered. And developed advanced systems during the conflict itself, Core continued. Aircraft, communication networks, logistics frameworks. Sale looked horrified. They innovate while dying. It's consistent, Core added. Every major war accelerated their technological progress. The timeline moved backward further. Empires rose and fell. Siege warfare. Naval dominance. Guerrilla resistance. They fight even after defeat, Scout Zero said. Yes, Core confirmed. Formal loss does not end resistance. It transforms it. Varric's voice was low. Meaning occupation is meaningless. Correct, Core said. Their doctrine assumes defeat and plans beyond it. Gearwright displayed battle simulations. Numerically inferior human forces repeatedly defeated superior enemies through unpredictability and refusal to retreat. They don't know when to stop, Sale whispered. Worse, Varric said, they celebrate that. Sale pulled up psychological profiles of historical human commanders. These individuals would be classified as unstable by our standards, she said. Yet millions followed them willingly. Because they inspired belief, Scout Zero said. And endurance, Core added. They normalize sacrifice. Gearwright's systems chimed urgently. Commander, I accessed restricted human archives. Varric braced himself. Show me. The display revealed planetary devastation. Cities reduced to ash, entire regions poisoned. They did this to themselves? Sale asked in disbelief. Yes, Core said. And survived. More than that, Gearwright added. They rebuilt stronger. Silence pressed down on the bridge. They have been preparing for us, Scout Zero realized. Core confirmed it. Recent decades show a decline in internal conflict. Increased cooperation. Unified defense planning. They stopped fighting each other, Varric said slowly, because someone else became the threat. Sail's wings drooped. Us. Varric stared at Earth, now no longer peaceful in his mind. A species that turns disaster into progress, he said. Trauma into fuel. Fear into entertainment. And war, Gearite added, into art. Scout Zero finally spoke. Commander, what happens if someone attacks them again? Varric's answer was immediate. They become better at killing whoever comes next. The ship fell silent, orbiting a planet that pretended to be harmless. The return journey was silent. No one on the stealth vessel spoke, unless necessary, each crew member lost in their own calculations of survival odds and regret. Earth slowly shrank behind them, returning to a harmless-looking sphere of blue and white, as if nothing beneath its clouds could ever threaten the galaxy. Commander Varric finally broke the silence. Transmit everything, he ordered quietly. No summaries. No interpretations. Raw data. Analyst Corps hesitated. Commander, the Council will panic. They should, Varric replied. Panic is healthier than arrogance. When the vessel re-entered the station's perimeter, emergency summons echoed through every sector. Within hours, the Grand Council chamber was filled beyond capacity. Representatives crowded the tiers, their usual confidence replaced by nervous energy. Varric stepped forward, his posture rigid. Honored delegates, he began, Earth is not unconquered because it is weak. A warlord leaned forward impatiently. Then explain why none of us have taken it. Varric gestured, and the chamber darkened as Earth's history filled the air. They survive because destruction improves them. Confusion rippled across the council. They absorb technology, Gearite's recorded voice echoed. They adapt tactics instantly. They share knowledge globally in real time. They metabolize trauma, sales data followed. Psychological attacks strengthen cohesion. Fear becomes entertainment. They practice war constantly, Scout Zero's report continued. Even during peace. The Council watched in horrified silence as footage of human training, disaster response, and historical warfare unfolded. These creatures, Varric said steadily, have spent thousands of years fighting themselves. When external threats appeared, they stopped. A murmur spread. They redirected all that experience outward, Analyst Corps' voice concluded. Toward anyone who comes from the stars. A small delegate trembled. But they looked so gentle. They are, Varric said. By choice. That sentence struck harder than any weapon. Senator Carr of the Shadow Assembly spoke at last. What happened to the missing fleets? Varric did not hesitate. They were not annihilated in orbit. They were dismantled, studied, repurposed. And the crews? Another demanded. Silence lingered. Humans do not always kill, Varric said carefully. Sometimes they learn. The chamber erupted. This is exaggeration. This is fear-mongering. This species barely travels beyond its system. Varric raised his hand and the noise died. They don't need to come to us, he said. They are waiting. Waiting for what? The warlord snapped. For someone foolish enough to give them a reason. The Council reviewed one final projection, Earth's future trajectory based on current trends. Technological acceleration. Exponential. Military readiness. Restrained but comprehensive. Psychological resilience. Unmatched. Cultural adaptability. Uncontrolled. Commander, Senator Carr asked slowly, if a unified human civilization chose expansion. Varric met his gaze. Then the galaxy would not stop them. The words settled like a death sentence. After hours of debate, fear overcame pride. Motion, Senator Carr announced, to designate Earth a protected system. And enforce it? Someone asked. Yes, Carr replied grimly. From ourselves. The vote was unanimous. Earth was officially classified as a restricted world. No approach. No provocation. No surveillance beyond passive observation. As the chamber emptied, Varric lingered alone, watching the image of Earth rotate peacefully. They don't even know, he murmured. Healer's sail stood beside him. That's the most dangerous part. They believe they are ordinary, Varric said. They believe kindness makes them weak. Sail's wings shifted uneasily. And if they ever stop believing that? Varric turned away from the display. Then, he said quietly, the galaxy will learn why some predators choose to sleep. Far away, on a small blue planet, humans laughed, argued, raised families, played games, and dreamed of a future among the stars, completely unaware that the universe had already decided one thing with absolute certainty. Earth was not to be touched. Not because it could not be conquered, but because every attempt only taught it how to conquer back.